off, we thank Wondrium, a museum for your mind, for sponsoring this video.
Ok. Que é isto? What the fuck?
It was equipped with the most advanced security system in the world at the time.
Alcatraz.
Monitored every second by heavily armed guards.
Yep.
On an island in San Francisco Bay, surrounded by cold, shark-infested waters. Yet 3 inventive felons managed to practically disappear from the escape-proof maximum security federal penitentiary of Alcatraz.
Foda-se.
How? We've broken down their crafty survival strategy. It's going to be just like you were there. Here's how to survive. Escaping Alcatraz. Originally used as a military prison in the 19th century, in 1933, the American government decided Alcatraz would keep the country's most dangerous criminals behind bars.
Faz sentido.
Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly were just a few of the most infamous
Machine Gun
gangsters,
Kelly,
thieves,
man.
and murderers. But in its 30 years of operation, the prison housed more than 15,000
O original.
inmates. Bank robber Frank Morris was one of them. He was a lifelong criminal, first convicted at age 13 and escaped several times from other prisons. But when he was in his 30s, he was sentenced to 14 years in Alcatraz. Escape-proof, right?
Não.
Well, not for him.
Foda-se.
In 1962, he masterminded the most amazing prison break in history. If you want to know how he and 2 other inmates did it, keep watching.
Ok.
How did they use a vacuum cleaner to break through the walls? Why were musical instruments so important? And how did they use raincoats to survive the freezing waters?
Foda-se.
You all know how much research we do to bring you amazing survival stories and strategies you can use in the most love one courses. Record for your mind. Learn from the best experts.
Ganda Kaitas, pá, já vou ver isso, mano, obrigado. Isto é a prisão dos tubarões. Obrigado, mano, obrigado, Kaitas, obrigado.
PS, minuto 3h40 da manhã, React.
In the world. Wondrium is a museum for your mind, full of amazing facts. This time I found a mind-blowing story about Alcatraz in the series Native Peoples of North America, hosted by the award-winning Professor Daniel M. Cobb and produced by for Native on the abandoned prison for a brief period. During the 19 months they occupied Alcatraz, the abandoned prison became a symbol of indigenous survival worldwide, instead of a terror for the worst criminals in the country.
Muito fixe.
If you want access to amazing facts like this every day, you can join Wondrium. Click the link and
Mano,
to enjoy
foda-se, mais de metade deste vídeo é anúncios, puto.
this museum for your mind. You have to get out of jail first.
Tá bem, João.
So stick around. Step 1. Make friends. When Frank Morris arrived on Alcatraz Island, 2.5 kilometers from San Francisco's coastline, he joined forces with Alan West, another escape artist he had met in an Atlanta prison.
Okay.
It was West's second time at the Rock, so he knew the place inside and out. He had noticed that one of the vents in cell block B wasn't working. It was a perfect exit. They started planning their escape, and then they realized 2 other inmates they knew from Atlanta were also in Alcatraz. The bank-robbing Anglin brothers, John and Clarence, were recruited.
Foda-se.
Step 2. Get a job. Being assigned to painting detail on their cell block's roof gave West the chance to map the route out. When he was painting outside the walls of the prison, he found a pipe connected to the broken ventilation duct they wanted to use as an exit.
Ok.
This gave the group a chance to store some tools and materials in a makeshift workshop out of sight of the guards.
Foda-se.
Step 3. Be handy. With West's access to tools, they made a homemade drill out of a broken vacuum cleaner engine, which helped them make small holes in the walls of their cells. They also created an art technique that helped them fool the guards by creating papier-mâché-like sculptures out of soap and toilet paper. If you want to know what they used it for, skip to the next step.
Oh man, what the fuck, bro?
Step 4. Listen to music. Alcatraz inmates had 1 hour per day to practice a musical instrument, meaning dozens of amateur musicians making noise at the same time. The group took advantage of it to slowly dig their way out of their cells, one scoop at a time. They used the handmade drill and sharpened spoons they stole from the prison's kitchen to break through 20-centimeter thick walls just large enough to squeeze through. It took them months, but it led them to an unguarded corridor. To fool the guards, they used paper mache from the toilet paper and soap to patch the walls and hide the holes. And the night of the escape, they left incredible sculptures of heads almost identical to their own. During the evening's head count, no one noticed that 3 inmates weren't in their beds. Yes, we said 3. Unfortunately for Alan West, one of the originators of the plot, his careful planning didn't account for him not being able to fit through the hole he made in his cell wall. Step 5. Don't jump in the water. You should be excited
Mano, aí a ganda merda, o gajo ficou para trás. O gajo ficou para trás porque não coube no buraco, mano, da parede, mano. Aí, mano,
get out of the prison and jump straight into the water. But there is a 2-kilometer swim separating you from the shore.
Foda-se.
Chances are you'll die of hypothermia, drown, or get eaten by sharks.
Mas como é que há assim tantos tubarões naquela baía de São Francisco, mano? Porra, como é que é, Teixas?
The England brothers built a raft out of raincoats stolen from the prison factory. Once the group was on shore and no one had noticed the escape, their only challenge was to survive the ocean. Step 6. Hide. Official versions say the group died at sea.
Eles
But
morreram.
a few years later, the England's mother began receiving Christmas cards, including photos of the brothers.
Uau, puto.
In 2018, a man sent a letter to San Francisco police claiming to be John England, now 83. It said Morris, the mastermind behind the escape, died in 2008, and his brother Clarence passed away in 2011. Authorities did not believe the letter, but if it was true, that means the group managed to escape and hide for nearly 60 years.
Foda-se, puto.
Unfortunately, there are other, more recent criminals who have the ability to avoid justice. Have you heard of Ted Bundy? He killed dozens of women and eluded police for years. But we've come up with some tips to help you survive such a fearsome predator. Here on How to Survive.
Puto, ok, mano, mas esta merda é extraordinária. É? Como é que é possível estes gajos terem sobrevivido assim? Puto, como é que é possível? Tipo, mano, estes gajos fugiram a uma das prisões mais complexas do mundo e ficaram supostamente escondidos durante anos e anos e anos, meu. Porra. Absurdo, hein? Isto também é um bocado entrar aí no campo das teorias da conspiração, né? Mas foda-se, mano. Tipo, a mãe do gajo começou a receber postais de Natal e fotografias dos gajos vivos depois. Pois, mano, é que é brutal, puto. Foda-se. É que era lindo, mano. Brutal, mano. Foda-se, incrível. Mano, eu acho que é um bocado estranho pensar que o gajo, tipo... Que o gajo, basicamente... Que eles planearam esta merda toda e morreram, puto. Não faz sentido, mano. É bué da estúpido. É só parvo.